Okay, first thing is natural gas. What do we know about natural gas? Flammable. Yeah, it's flammable. It goes boom. Okay, so that's real important that we're able to shut this off in an emergency. Okay, we use it for cooking, heating, and hot water. Now, in Loma Prieta, there were 45,000 people who called PG&E about their gas. That means 45,000 people turned off their gas. Did they all need to turn off their gas? No. Shake your heads, no, because when do you need to turn off the gas? Only if there's a problem, right? Because what happens then? How long do you think it takes PG&E to get out there and turn it back on? 45,000 people? Days, weeks? I'm thinking maybe even a month. Who has seen one of these out in the street? Now, a lot of times what you're going to find in there is a bunch of muck. Okay, that's what this NERT volunteer here is doing, cleaning out their little gas valve access. It's full of dirt, it's full of weeds. You turn it to the right to tighten it, righty-tighty, turn it to left to open it, lefty-loosey. This one's been cleaned out. If you look at the one at your house, which is part of your homework tonight, to go home and look at the one at your house, go ahead, take a big screwdriver or a pry bar or something, pop open that lid, take a look in there, see what's going on in there, okay? You'll see that it's full of crud. It's not nice and clean like this. Okay, who has seen one of these things around their house? Everybody, right? Each meter has a shutoff. Does everybody know where their gas meter is? I see some head shaking. Okay, you want to find out where that is, okay? I mean, that way you could keep track of your PG&E usage, but more importantly, you'll know where to shut it off. And here's the shutoff right here. Okay, I've got a few tasty little tools up here. You guys can look at these. Any hardware store will sell you these. Basically what these do is they fit right on this. And that allows you to turn off the gas. When we talk about the wheels spinning wildly, there are these little wheels right up here on top. Half cubic foot and cubic foot wheels. Okay, if you've got a broken pipe, those things are going to be spinning like mad. I mean, tonight or when it's daylight, go home, you know, you've got the heater on, you've got the oven on, take a look at those top wheels. They're spinning, but they're not spinning like mad. You'll see them start to creep around a little bit. You know, if you turn on every gas appliance in your house, you'll see them moving. But if you break a 3/4 inch gas pipe, they'll be spinning like mad. And what are you going to smell? What is that? The smell you smell from natural gas, right? It's that rotten egg thing. It's mercaptan. It's an additive that's added to methane because our natural gas is methane. And what we know about methane is that it rises, right? Because it's lighter than air. So if you smell the natural gas thing, you want to get out, shut off the gas, and sort of ventilate the room. Open up the doors and windows, get some air in there, get that natural gas out. To test this thing, you want to turn it 1/8 of a turn, okay? If this is a 1/4 turn, that's 1/8 of a turn. Just turn it 1/8 of a turn and turn it back to the way it was. And notice this little sort of like valve stem thing, that's going straight with the flow of the pipe. That means it's open. If this is in the direction of the pipe, it's open. If it's across a 1/4 turn, that means you've shut off the gas. But if you turn it 1/8 of a turn, you haven't shut off the gas, but you've moved it. Is it better to turn it off here or out in the street, that little one with the crusty spindle? These are generally in better shape. If you can get to this valve safely, you know, if the building's collapsed on it, you're not going to be able to get to it. Then you have to use the one out in the street. But this one, PG&E went around a few years ago and they put all the meters outside of the houses in a lot of neighborhoods. So these are pretty easy to get to. And also you'll find these, they're easy to find too, because if you can find that little round circle that's out in the sidewalk, you stand in front of that circle and the street's behind you and you look directly at the house, you'll find this meter and that shut off somewhere on the ground floor, generally. This is a close-up of your gas meter and the shut off. Here's somebody working the valve with a wrench. This is the kind of wrench I like to recommend because you can use it for a lot of other things. These things are cheap. They sell them in almost every hardware store, and they work. But this is great because you can use it somewhere else if you have to. It's an adjustable open-end wrench. Here's a diagram of off, on. There's a shut-off valve. Here's another shut-off coming up out of the dirt. Here's one problem you might have. You get this wrench that doesn't quite work. It runs into the ground. Also, we like to leave these wrenches next to the shut-off. You know, just tie it off with a wire. Here it is. We'll cover it again when you shut off the gas, okay? If the building's collapsed, pretty good idea to shut it off, right? Because the building collapses, all the pipes are going to be broken. You can bet money that, you know, there's a gas leak. If you do smell gas in there, we want you to leave the door open, open some windows, okay? And for goodness sake, don't operate any electrical switches. Because what happens when you throw a switch? You cause a spark. Don't use your cell phone or use a cell phone outside. Or use a neighbor's phone to call 911, get everyone out of the building. Close the gas valve, set it, and forget it. That means, you know, don't open it up again, even though you've got this electric ignition on your stove. There's probably a leak, you've got troubles. Wait for PG&E to come, test it, make sure it's all clear.